Friends, welcome back. It's Mike here. So as you can see here, the scientists are catching up with all these alternative people, conspiracy theorists, people like myself, who a lot of you criticized, said there's no connection between diet and immune system health. Come on, get real. We all need to stay home forever. We need to cancel schools. We need to shut down businesses. We need to stay in our houses. We need to wear not one, but 2 face masks. Well, guess what? The scientists are now realizing and connecting the dots due to understanding molecularly what's going on within the immune system, perturbations within the immune system, alterations in both the innate and adaptive immune system, which we're going to get into. I just want to unpack this for you. And again, I was facetious about the conspiracy theorists. I mean, how could it ever be a conspiracy theory to suggest that by improving your diet and lifestyle that you could actually, my little kid here is messing with me, by improving your diet and lifestyle that you could actually improve your body's defenses? I mean, I don't know how that could have been controversial, how that could have been relegated to QAnon or conspiracies or anything, because it makes so much sense. We know that people that have elective surgical procedures, if they're pre-diabetic, if they're overweight, if you give someone a bolus of glucose, there's a predictable negative shift in various immune system cells. So here we go. Let's cut to some quotes here, because I think it's important. We all have friends, we have coworkers, we have family members who kind of question some of the stuff that we say. By we, you, I know you're healthy. That's why you're tuning into this podcast, these videos. I know you are sharing this message that you can improve your health with diet, nutrition, with exercise, with circadian rhythm imbalance, or being proactive about modulating your body's circadian clock system. So I think this is important. And while I'm kind of sharing with you some quotes, let's just cut to one of these beautiful images that is now on our YouTube channel. If you're listening on iTunes, you'll be able to check this out. But inflammatory responses caused by COVID-19 may have long-term costs in survived individuals, leading to chronic disorders such as dementia, neurodegenerative disease, through neuroinflammatory mechanisms that are related to an unhealthy diet. Okay, let's just pause right there. Okay, we're going to talk about chronic long haulers, people that are experiencing chronic deleterious effects after being exposed to this virus and getting the infection long after the infection subsists and the symptoms, kind of go away. The primary symptoms, that is, there's lingering symptoms. Now, it's important to talk about this because I think although the data is not totally, 100% clear on this at this point, the more chronic inflammation that you have at the time of infection, the worse that your outcomes will be. And so I think that's going to be, from a long-term, please stop. Stop doing that. I'm talking to your little one. Why don't you come up here and color or something like that? Come on. All right. She was slowly trying to rip Velcro off something, and please don't do that anymore. And it's becoming a bit distracting. But the more that we are inflamed initially, the more we can expect to become chronically inflamed after the fact. And so a lot of people that have autoimmune disease, a lot of people that have pre-existing chronic inflammatory conditions are suffering long after they experience their primary COVID-19 symptoms. And that's the important point. So if people are wearing face masks, if they're social distancing, if they're hand washing, they're wearing gloves, they're doing everything, they really ought to also be doing everything out of an abundance of caution for their diet and lifestyle to optimize their metabolic health and their immune health. Does that sort of make sense? Because, you have this acute infectious event and then you have the chronic lingering effects that are going to be a problem after the fact. Okay, so that's number one. Let's get back to the quote here because I think it's really important that we understand this. Therefore, now more than ever, wider access to healthy food should be a main concern, and individuals should be aware of healthy eating habits to reduce COVID-19 complications. Okay. Where have you heard that before? Now more than ever, people should be more aware of their nutrition habits and eating habits to reduce COVID-19 complications. So COVID-19, there's a high probability that you will be exposed to this virus or someone that will be exposed to this virus. There's tens of millions of people in the US alone that have been exposed to this. It's likely going to be endemic and circulating through our communities for a long period of time. So we ought to get out in front of it and start exercising, start meditating, start managing our stress, start going to bed earlier, start eating healthier foods, all of that, right? Because we don't want chronic lingering challenges. So one of the papers that I've been reading, and I'll share with you in just a moment some of the details of this, is the higher the viral load, the more probability of having chronic lingering effects after the fact. So how can you reduce your viral load? Well, you can be healthier so that your body has a more snappy, more robust innate immune system response. Okay, so hopefully you found that visual pretty interesting. So let's get into some antibody papers, because I think this is actually a really important piece of data. Oh, actually, you know what? There's a few things I got to share with you. Actually, sorry, a few things I got to share with you that dovetail into this conversation about antibodies. So this is actually from this article, Fast Food and COVID-19. In a recent study, the population of T and B cells were considerably lower in patients with severe COVID-19. So unhealthy diets may act as a negative trigger in SARS-CoV-2 infection. As known before, higher consumption of fast foods increases the risk of obesity. Should it also be highlighted that in persons with obesity, the response to antiviral and antimicrobial drugs is poorer. We've known that for a long time. The same goes with vaccination response. Really remember that, from the flu shot to dengue fever, there's a lot of different vaccinations that have been studied in overweight individuals and found that they have a suboptimal and subprotective effect. So people are like, I'm just going to sit at home and wait until the vaccine. Well, are you going to get sufficient immunological and antibody seropositivity and protection from that vaccine? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So anyway, let's see. Oh, this is a hold on. I want you to remember this thought. T and B cells were considerably lower in people with severe COVID-19. They're also lower in people who consume fast food. My daughter is just all around my feet being a goofball. I apologize for that. Okay, so here's a really important point that we're going to get to, and I swear I'm going to come back to the T and B cells in just one moment, but I want you to focus in on this, the packaging of fast food and processed foods. Everyone is ordering stuff. People that are scared of catching the virus are doing everything out of an abundance of caution, and they're staying home. They're ordering on Uber Eats, and they do the drive-through, okay? They're getting hot food wrapped in plastic and petrochemicals and endocrine disrupting chemicals and heavy metals. So this was a really interesting aspect about this article. They go on to say that fast foods can be a big source of toxic heavy metals, including but not limited to cadmium, mercury, nickel, and lead, and arsenic. I mean, this is bad. So we know that heavy metals that I just mentioned, the cadmium, lead, arsenic, mercury, and so forth, what they do is they actually cause endothelial dysfunction. So these heavy metals are linked with cardiovascular complications. Well, what are some of the common risk factors here for severe outcomes? Cardiovascular disease, cerebrovascular disease, chronic inflammation, cancer, right? We know these heavy metals and persistent organic pollutants and chemicals affect the immune system, lead to higher prevalence of cancer, and obesity. So, this idea that you're going to the drive-through to be safe while you're wearing gloves and you're spraying things down with hand sanitizer while you have hot food that's being baked in plastic and wrapped in endocrine disrupting chemicals, how could one possibly think that's actually healthy? So I think an under-recognized yet critically negatively, contributing factor linked with fast food consumption and poor health outcomes is the packaging. Now, I don't want to dog any small business. I hope small businesses are using, when it comes to takeout right now, they're doing the best they can. I hope they're not using packaging in takeout that has endocrine disrupting chemicals and persistent organic pollutants that harm your health. So that's just something to keep in mind. So now let's get into a few things, but I do want to let all of you know that these shows are brought to you by our very own Myoscience Nutrition. I created this product line to help people like you get access to high quality dietary supplements, way better than what you're going to find in most retail stores, or just kind of like the cheapest stuff you can find on Amazon that is not manufactured in high quality facilities that I personally have vetted myself. So now we have a range of vitamin D support formulas to support your body's naturally low vitamin D levels this time of the year, because the zenith angle of the sun is not sufficient to synthesize cutaneous vitamin D. So if you would like different dosing options, liquid vitamin D that's in an MCT oil base, also an organic olive oil soft gel. We have the D3 Absorb and this new liquid D3 Supreme, in addition to our daily driver, the essential fatty nutrients with vitamin K. So you can use the code podcast over on our website to save. That's Myoscience with an X Myoscience.com. That's MYOXCIENCE.com. Please check that out and support the show sponsor. Let's get into this, and why talk about this? Because this was an article in the New England Journal of Medicine, considered to be one of the top tier, most widely respected, one of the most widely respected medical journals, and one of the oldest medical journals in the United States. Okay. The New England Journal of Medicine has like this call to action. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so all of you can kind of see this on the screen, these charts. I think it's important to recognize this. They're highlighting that for many individuals, especially folks over the age of 45, that COVID-19 was the third leading cause of mortality up to October of 2020. Now think about that. How much our world has changed from social distancing to masking to cancel schools to canceling concerts to doing everything. Now we have spit guards and shields if you go to the bank, if you go to the grocery store. But it's only, and I say only, and I don't mean to undermine the tens of thousands of people that have died from this and have been negatively affected. But it's still only the third leading cause of death. So if we're doing so many things to mitigate and contain this virus, why are we ignoring the two other causes of death that claim collectively combined more lives than COVID-19? Why are we ignoring these? I mean, I don't understand why people have so much disdain for people who don't wear facial coverings in national parks, but yet we have no critique of food companies that are selling processed crap that is directly contributing to cancer and cardiovascular disease. But can someone help explain to me this? This to me seems, and I'm not creating false equivalency. If we're talking about lives, saving lives, why are we ignoring cardiovascular disease and cancer? Why are we ignoring that? We're really just saying, well, that's people's choice. What if they want to eat junk food or if they want to do this? But it's like, well, I thought every life counted. Every life mattered. That's why kids are out of school. That's why the world has been canceled. That's why you have to wear not one, but it's suggested that you even now wear two facial coverings, right? This is why, I just don't get it. Not only are we ignoring heart disease and cancer, and we have a lot of disdain for individuals who don't wear facial coverings while they walk their dog, but we seemingly support the companies that are creating unhealthy products that are making people sick from heart disease and cancer. And we feel good about it. People take selfies when they go to the drive-thru in McDonald's, but yet people yell at others who are not wearing a facial covering, checking their mail. I mean, look, I would love for someone that's smarter than me to explain this because I cannot get it. If it's all about saving lives and returning to normal, we're ignoring heart disease and cancer are also, by the way, incidentally, risk factors for severe outcomes with the virus. So I don't know. I'm at a loss here. Look, check out this table. Now, I want you to realize and look at this table. If you look at malignant neoplasm, so that's scientific jargon for cancer. If you look at heart disease and the numbers, so this is per capita deaths. So you might look at these and say, wait, 51? What does that mean? That's deaths per capita. So I think it's 100,000. I believe it's 100,000 or million. So anyway, you can see here, for young people, even people in their 30s, heart disease is still claiming more lives than the coronavirus, right? And yet people are smoking, people are drinking, people are going to bed at 2 a.m. after binge watching Netflix. People are eating canola oil, soy oil, and all of this. So, I don't understand this, but anyway, so if you have a better way to explain this than I do, please let me know. One thing that I did want to get to, the question from Radio Joe had, it's organic olive oil. Yes, sir. So let's get into immunology and talk about immunological memory. I think this is a really important point that a lot of folks actually don't really consider, and it really dives and connects the dots between everything that we're talking about with regards to fast food and lifestyle and diet and exercise and sleep. Because remember, the cells that are negatively affected when we're consuming junk food and fast food are T lymphocytes and B cells, which is where you get these are cells of your adaptive immune system. So you get immunological memory from these different cell types, these different cell types. Now, what's interesting is what you're going to see here is this was a quantification of immunological memory in people who have had and been infected and exposed to the coronavirus. Now, what they go on to say is IgG, so IgG antibodies, immunoglobulin G, to the spike protein, which is one of, by the way, 4 proteins that are found on the virus that your immune system reacts to. You actually react to the nucleocapsid, you react to the M protein, the envelope protein, and also the spike protein. Was relatively stable over the course of 6 months, they go on to say. And spike-specific memory B cells were more abundant at 6 months than at 1 month post-symptom onset. So you're contrary to what the media says, because a lot of people are saying, look, you don't want to ever get exposed to the virus because your immune system sucks at making memory to it, which is actually a scientifically inaccurate statement. Your immune system does adequately provide ample long-lasting immunity. In fact, individuals that were exposed to the first SARS outbreak in 2003 still have T-cell immunity 17 years later. But anyway, these researchers went on to look at SARS-CoV-2 specific CD4 T helper cells and CD8 T helper cells, and what they notice is that these decline with a half-life of 3 to 5 months. So why are we talking about this? Well, number one, the human immune system has a brilliant, sophisticated way to make immunological memory. And it's not just relegated to B cells and relegated to antibodies. Your T cells, and specifically your memory T cells, have the ability to create immunological memory. And now, how does this, again, connect to fast food? Your T cells are negatively impacted and are largely impacted by your diet, okay? So good luck thinking that you're going to get all the benefits of, say, a vaccine or you're going to get lasting immunity if you're not changing your diet, because your T lymphocytes, specifically your memory T cells, are really influenced by your lifestyle. So this is the message that we should be doubling down. We should have never closed gyms. We should have never canceled kids' sports. We should have never done any of that. We should have never closed national parks. I mean, come on, hiking trails were closed. I mean, it was just ridiculous because we absolutely need exercise. Exercise is so important for your immune system. So I wanted to leave that there. So friends, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching all the way through. Let's get to some of your live questions here. I know it's a little late. It's like 6:45. Is this information fun, interesting? Are you getting sick of it? Is it boring? I would love to know, honestly. To me, it's interesting because I'm writing a book about the immune system. So of course it's interesting to me, but I want to share what's interesting to you. A thumbs up if we should keep talking about this. Do we need to keep diving into how diet and lifestyle impacts our immune system? Are you sick of it? Should we get back to more strictly metabolic stuff? But anyway, let's get to some of your questions. I see a lot of great questions. Oh, and friends, by the way, okay, I'm on a new internet system. We used to be on Comcast, but we switched to the Ziply fiber. It is amazing. So as you can tell, you're probably able to watch this replay, and it's great high resolution. Sometimes in the evenings, the reason why I stopped doing lives, I backed off while we were switching, is because I kept having issues where it would stop and it would start and it would, like, my internet would go out halfway through. But Ziply, it's a fiber optic cable, and it is blazing fast. I'm just thrilled to have this. So support Ziply Fiber. Not only are they a great company to do business with, they're so easy, but they're way more affordable than Comcast. I'm so pleased to not be supporting Comcast anymore. Their customer service is terrible and all that. Okay, what do we got? People are saying they love the information, which is good. Okay, Greg says true ancestral health is so lost in our current civilization. Man, it really is. It's so sad to see. Nick says, I'm 8 months post-infection. Very curious to get another antibody test to compare IgG and IgM levels from the past 5 months. Nick, I would love to know too. Please let me know when you test your IgG levels again. Interestingly, from the people that I got exposed to with and so forth, I was the only one that had, see, I got a shirt. I have the antibodies. Someone just sent this to me in the mail. I don't even know how I got it. So someone just mailed this to me. So if you sent me this shirt, thank you. They didn't have a note or anything. It just came to my P.O. box. So Nick, if you get your antibodies tested in a few months, please let me know. That would be really interesting. Okay, RT says obesity is caused by high insulin levels. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, obesity and insulin, there's a connection for sure. JGHK says, no one questions these two leading causes because they believe heart disease and cancer is caused by bad genes. JGHK, isn't that the truth? A lot of people do wrongly believe that the main drivers of the etiology of those diseases that you mentioned, heart disease and cancer, are driven largely by genetics. Of course, genetics, they load the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger, my friends. Heart disease runs in my family. Heart disease killed my grandfather, but my father is not going to take that for an answer. I got him donating blood now. He's been exercising for his entire life. His blood work is amazing. His triglycerides are 60. I just looked at his labs today. And so yeah, you are not destined to get, this isn't some fatalistic thing where if someone in your family had diabetes or heart disease or obesity, that you must have it. That is totally not the case. Debbie says, are these research documents all peer-reviewed? Absolutely, Debbie, they are. And they're posted in peer-reviewed academic journals, which is why I share them and why I get excited about them. It's one thing for me. I started talking about the connection between diet and immune system health back in January. A lot of you accused me of being a conspiracy theorist, of stay in your lane, Mike. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I knew back then because I wrote the book Belly Fat Effect and did all that research for over 10 years ago. Even back then, there was a very strong connection in the research showing diet and nutrition are intimately related to immune system health. But a lot of you doubted it. And now it's nice to have peer-reviewed journals and scientists talking about this. So yeah. Anyway, friends, as always, I am grateful that you were here. Thanks for hitting that like button. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in iTunes. Thanks for listening all the way through. I don't know what else to say. How else can we share this message with people and have it get through? I don't know. Hopefully you can help me figure that out. Maybe we have to appeal to emotion or fear, because obviously the logical sides of our brains connect the dots. Junk food, poor immune system health. But for some reason, people still go to the drive-thru. I see the Jack in the Box, Carl's Jr., I see McDonald's, I see Chick-fil-A. It's like back bumper to bumper with cars. I literally don't get it. Anyway, friends, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing this video. We will catch you on a future one down the road. Until then, be well. Bye.